Okay, Rabbi said we were in the middle yesterday of a very important question. Most of you probably haven't had a chance to sleep because how do you sleep when you have such a kasha? That's the kasha. How do you sleep when you're wondering what's going to be with the pen in the child's hand? Can I take it out or not? So I want to move, I want to step back and then we'll get back into that as well. The truth is, the Maisa, we could spend an entire share just explaining that shaila, but I'm not going to. Because there is just so much more to do that we can I know a Muktza on itself. Because we have to know Shabbos, before Shabbos. The Heilige Chayzim Lublin wouldn't make Kiddush on a Friday night until he chazed over all of Hilchah Shabbos. Once I know Hilchah Shabbos, now I can go into Shabbos, now I can make Kiddush. Right? So I don't know what your excuse is, but that's what he did, okay? That's what he did. So upon him, I don't know if we're going to get to that Madrega, but we can get to some Madrega at least, something we could do. So B'siyata D'Shmaya, let's try to go through it. As I said, we could spend an entire share just to explain this halacha, but we have to move on, okay? So like this. First of all, it's like this. We discussed the shaila about having a wallet, or a handbag, or a hammer. Something which is called a Kli Shemilachto le'isa, and it's bothering me. Okay? Bothering. It's annoying, right? I've got guests coming in, there's a handbag there, it's not geschmack. I don't need it, and I don't need the makoim. So there's no veheta, right? So the Maisa like this. Some of the poskim, in fact, many of the poskim want to be machmeh, and they want to say that even if the Maisa there is a covered Shabbos Inyan over here, because it's covered Shabbos, not to have it sitting on the side over there. But that's not good enough. That's not what they allowed. They allowed a tzorech makoimai, they allowed a tzorech atzmai, tzorech gufoi, but not stam le tzorech Shabbos. And that's how many of the poskim paskin. However, they want a tiny like this. A very interesting Gemara in Shabbos Daf Mem Hey Amud Aleph, which I don't want to go into at this moment of time because the Meiri goes through it very, very clearly in Shabbos Kol Chav Dalet, where the Meiri brings down like this. I'll bring you another lashon of the Meiri in a moment. The Meiri wants to learn, again, this is mashma from the Gemara, where Falk, Zatzal, my Rebbe also paskin this way in Machselio, and it goes like this. Very, very interesting. What did they come along and they asked? They asked something, mechama letzel. What does mechama letzel mean? And we'll talk about that halacha lemaisa. That if this kli, let's say for example outside there is a hammer, and it's about to rain. Now if it's going to rain on my hammer, it's going to get rusty, right? So I want to bring it inside so it shouldn't get rusty. Am I allowed to do that on Shabbos? No. Why? It's not tzorech gufay, it's not tzorech makoimai. It's mechama letzel. It's for the usage of the kli itself. That's also. That they never allowed. Say the poskim. We'll get there. Very good. Shimon, you're gavaldik. Just wait 1 minute. We know that anyway, but I'm just reinforcing that, just in case someone forgot. But we'll get to that. It's a gavaldik akasha. Say the poskim. What if I'm not doing it for the kli itself? I'm doing it not for the kli. If I'm doing it for the kli, that's what they asked. But in a case where they didn't do it for the kli, like for example, the handbag is on the side. I'm removing it because it's covered Shabbos. It's not nice for the guests to see a handbag there. Is that for the kli itself? Hello? Huh? What? It's not for the kli itself, right? No. I'm not doing it for the kli. I'm doing it in the covered Shabbos. Some of the Rishonim want to use a lashon that if you can't use the room because of the kli being there, so it's tzorech makoimai because I can't have it in the room. Because I can't bring a guest into the room with a handbag there. I don't know why. Let's say, right? I can't bring the guest in the room. It's not nice. There's hammers there. There's handbags there. It's not nice. So the whole room is full. I can't get into the room. The person can't get in because it's not nice to have it there. Maybe they want a taina that's nichlal in tzorech makoimai, not mechama letzel. Even though I be'emes don't need the place and I'm not using the item, that is considered to be mutter in this case. Now there are those who are machmeh, and then those, for example, Rav Moshe would never allow you to move it in such a case because the Maisa is not covered Shabbos, and covered Shabbos doesn't allow you to move a Kli Shemilachto le'isa. But as I said, there are many who are makel, and I think personally you could be samech on that. In that case, moving on to the next shaila, which is a chelik of the same shaila which we left with yesterday, and that is that pen. The pen that's in the child's hand, he's about to color all over the curtains, or he's taking the air conditioning and he's going to switch it off on a very hot day, or for you guys in a regular winter day, whatever it may be upstairs in your rooms for some reason. So he's going to switch it off on Shabbos, and what's going to be? I'm not going to have air conditioning on a freezing winter day in my bedroom in yeshiva. I mean, that's crazy, right? How am I going to go to sleep? And then I can't get up for shachris, then I can't, what do you want from me? That's how it goes, right? It's like a vicious cycle, right? So is that called the tzorech makoimai? It's a kli shemilachto, it's a shalat, right? It's a shalat. It's a remote control, Or it's a pen. These are all kli shemilachto le'isa. So what's the Yesod HaShaila? Let me just spell out the Yesod HaShaila. Is the pshat that you're allowed to metalta, that kli shemilachto le'isa, not l'tzoyrech gufoy u'mekoymai, but also not machama l'tzel, because it's not machama l'tzel? Or is the pshat that the heta is only if you're using it l'tzoyrech gufoy u'mekoymai, but if you are not, then automatically it's also? That's the Shaila. So I want to read to you a lashon of Rashi. Okay, Rashi in Shabbos Kuf Chav Gimel says like this. What is he explaining machama l'tzel? We have to look at the Rishonim to understand the pshat and the issa, and then we can answer the halacha l'maisa Shaila. Rashi brings down like this. Rashi says the issa of machama l'tzel she'eina tzoyrich le'achshav loy legufoy v'loy mekoymai elachas olav shema yisbaku achama. Says Rashi, I have rachmanis on the kli. I'm worried it's going to burst in the sun. I see it outside, it's very sunny. Oy vavoy, I must bring it in because it's going to get ruined. Learns Rashi. What's the issa of machama l'tzel? The issa of machama l'tzel is when you're doing it l'shem the kli. That's the issa. The Meiri also, Kuv Chav Daled in Shabbos, says exactly the same thing. I'm not going to read you the whole lashon, but it's a ganzer lashon over here, right? The Meiri says the same lashon. That when I'm doing it l'shem the kli, that's the issa. They never allowed you to move a kli shemilachto le'isa like a hammer. Let's say with the kli. For example, if there's a pot on the side, a pot is the kli shemilachto le'isa, and a child's going to take the pot and start banging it, it's going to get ruined. Chabal, I have rachmanis on the kli. The mainly I'm going to move it. That's asa. But in the case that we're discussing, where I've got the pen in the child's hand, or the remote control in the child's hand, and I'm not taking it away because he's going to ruin the item, but rather he's going to ruin my Shabbos, that would be mutter, and therefore I'll be allowed to move it. Even though it's not l'tzorech gufay, it's not l'tzorech mekoymai, but it's also not machama l'tzel. And the only issa really is to move it machama l'tzel. Now again, there are those who are machmeh, but we have rayas from a Gemara in Shabbos Memhei, we have a raya from a Meiri, we have a raya from Rashi, we have a kama rayas as well that hold this way as well. There's a Chuvas in Kavanas Aleid and Siman Tazayin also that goes with this mahalach. Pashtas in the Levush as well. Machzeh Eliyahu told you Siman Memhei Mechedek Aleph also that goes with that mahalach. Al Kol Ponim, that would be mutter. So we've answered the shaila from yesterday. Let's move on. Next shaila Rabbi Zay. What is machama l'tzel? Right? Shimon has a kasha. Shimon wants to know, you have a kli outside, but a hammer's outside, it's rusty. It's going to get rusty if it starts raining. I want to bring it inside. It's asa. It's a kli shemilachto le'isa. It's going to get ruined. I'm not allowed to bring it inside. A pot's on the side. A child's going to start banging it. It's going to get ruined. I can't do that. An umbrella's on the side, and the child's going to bring the umbrella and start picking it up and taking it outside. I don't want to do it. Let's move it, right? What's the halacha, right? So machama l'tzel, as we mentioned a few times already, means that it shouldn't get stolen, shouldn't get ruined, shouldn't get lost, it shouldn't get broken, whatever it is. I'm doing it for the sake of the kli. That's where the issa is. Comes along Shimon. Agav, it's also a Magen Avram, and the Magen Avram says that you could do it b'derech harama. Very interesting. We don't generally allow these things, but the Magen Avram says the Mishabura Paskin like this way. Like this Magen Avram, that you know what you could do, like Shimon said. What does Shimon say? You know what? I don't really need the hammer, but I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to open up a couple of nuts. I have some walnuts. They're hard to open, those walnuts, right? And I'm going to crack it open. I'll bring it inside, crack it open, and leave it. That's it. I've kidu brought it inside for a tzoyrech gufay. Masmei, with me? Maskim? Yeah. He's allowed to do that, right? Why not? Ask him. It's good, right?
It's cute.
What do you mean it's cute?
It's a loophole.
One second. Am I using it l'tzoyrech gufay or not? Mordechai, am I using it l'tzoyrech gufay or not?
You're going to want to go like this and like that.
You really want to bring it inside?
Of course I really want to bring it inside. But the Maisa I'm using it. Not sure I'm pretending I'm bringing it inside and say, just joking, leaving it. No, I'm actually bringing it inside. I'm actually using it so goofy because I'm cracking a couple of nuts with it. Then I'll leave it on the side. Not somebody doesn't like it, no?
If you eat the nuts, then fine.
Of course I'm going to eat the nuts. I'm going to use it. It's not a joke.
If you have a nutcracker.
Okay, listen. So all of you guys on the stomach going with the Aruch HaShulchan. But the Aruch HaShulchan says, all right, it's a digital camera outside. It's gonna get ruined, right? If you leave it out in the rain, digital camera, Shemilachto, what's gonna happen to it, right? So what's gonna happen? You bring it inside and you use it as a paperweight or something like that. As if it's not an expensive one, it's a kiss. That's a different shaila. But it's a kli shemilachto le'isa, then that would be mutter. Again, the Aruch HaShulchan says you shouldn't really do it unless there's a major tzorech. But stamazoi. there is by the way, there's another head I forgot to mention. A goy. You could ask a goy to bring it in. We discussed that here before. Right, a couple of months ago we did Amir Akum. But in this case, you are allowed to ask a goy lehedya. You could tell him to go along and do that's not a problem. That's the Pri Megadim. Now, let's move on, Rabbi Say. Electrical kalim. Okay, so Rav Moshe is a truven memtes about electrical kalim, and Rav Moshe says that most electrical kalim that we have are Muktza. Which Muktza? Nafkamina if you're allowed to move them. Kli Shemilachto le'issa. So, for example, simple. If you have an electric fan, one that turns around, whether or not you're allowed to pull out the thing at the back to pashtus not. That could be a shayla because you're making it work harder, but we're not going into that. But it's already moving. Let's say it's not. No, that would be okay. But let's say it's in one place, and I want to move it this way or that way. So it's Muktza, right? Because it uses electricity. That was one of the klalim we gave right at the beginning. That says Rav Moshe and say all the paiskim. Now, since it's a kli shemilachto le'isa, l'tzorech gufoy or l'tzorech mekayme is mutter. I need it facing this way, not that way. Therefore, it is okay, right? Most electrical kalim fall under this category. A bedside clock, for example. You've got a clock next to your bed that works with electricity. It's plugged in the wall. It's not facing me. Someone knocked it in the wrong direction. So I could just turn it. There's not a bit of to do with your elbow. You just turn it. Now it faces me. That's the tzorech mekayme. I need it in that place. And the same is with many of the items, with the exception of a crock pot. Why? Whoa.
Because it's plugged in.
I'm not turning around the camera to say who said that one. Who's what?
Because of the food, is that ready?
No, there's no food on it, empty. David, what do you say, David?
It's not so.
Why is a crock pot different? I'll add one more piece to the list. A hot plate. Hot plate and a crock pot. Why are they different? Libby.
Don't say my name.
Okay. No. Anyway, hello?
Hi.
No. This is at the Kli Shemilachto le'issa. That's what we said b'shem the Rashba. That any Kli that's roiv ishtamshus le'issa is automatically Kli Shemilachto le'issa. Why are those two different? Rabotai, Yedidya. Me?
It's a fire.
Oh, says Aaron Gavaldik. Eish! There's a fire inside over there. It's got red hot coils. The Rambam Paskins, that's Eish Mamish. Mimela, anything that's Eish, that's not a Kli Shemilachto le'issa. Kli Shemilachto le'issa is a utensil that happened to be used to Issa. Fire is fire. So you can't move that. You can't move a hot plate and you can't move a crock pot on Shabbos. You got that one? It's very important.
The new ones are not real fire.
Which new ones? The new crock pots? I guess you never took one apart? I did? Sure. Oh, try to sit on one. There we are. You try sitting on one. Tell me it's not fire. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Shkoyach Yitzi. That's Kavaldik. Mayudik. Some lights, by the way, could be included in this. Most of the lights that we have here are all LEDs. But like if you have an old-fashioned bulb, with the coils there, you know what I'm talking about? Smiling like those are the olden days, Anyway, so you have one of those. That's mamish eish. You have to be careful. You can't move those on Shabbos. What about a car? Oh, we discussed this once. When did we discuss this? Where's Naftali? He's here. What's with a car? What's the din of a car? Right? Very negay shayla. Lag ba'oime meiron. I want to sleep in the car. I want to be there on Shabbos. I want to mamish have the ashpaz of the Heilige Reb Shimon, whatever. Moyudik, kavaldik. I want to sleep in the car. What's your asa?
You're allowed.
Touching the car is always okay, but we're not moving it, right?
If the engine's on.
The engine is off, obviously. The engine is off.
What do you mean moving it?
What din? Well, every time you go in it, you move it. Every time you open the door, you move it. What din does a car have?
Heavy enough when you sit in it, you move it.
What din does that? Well, it depends what car it is. Like Duddies, it wouldn't move. Okay, so the mice really depends, right? So that's right. He has a very very big car. So when it comes to a car, most gedolei poskim, for example, Rav Shlomo Zalman, the Debet Sinirabim, Ben Moshe, the Oznidbru, Chacham Ovadia, and Yalkut Yosef Paskin, that a car is a kli Shemilachto le'issa. It has both issa and heter. People store things in it. People sit in there. People have meetings there. I don't know when I go to America, I live in the car basically. So for me, it's like a mini house. I have meetings there. I have interviews. Did I interview anyone here over there? I don't think so. Yechil, I did. Okay, whatever. And the point is that you use it for heter as well, and therefore it's a kli Shemilachto le'issa. By the way, there's a tshuva, there's a mashmois from Moshe. He holds this kli shemilachto leheta. That's a whole different shayla. But a kli shemilachto leheta means if opening the door will not switch on any light or cause anything to happen, then it could be okay, right? It could be no problem whatsoever. right? Which is basically, by the way, the same idea with a washing machine or a dryer or anything like that. I need to open up the dryer in order to take out clothing that I put in before Shabbos. So obviously, if it's attached and there's lights going to go on, not again. But if no lights are going to go on, it's detached from the wall, I'm allowed to open up the washing machine or the dryer or the dishwasher or anything similar to that. Closing it, by the way, will be problematic. Why? What's the difference?
Because you don't need it anymore.
Oh, thank you, Levi Yitzchak. Now I don't need it anymore, right? To open it is l'tzoyrich makoymai. I need it. To close it, it's not. So to open the dishwasher will be mutter. To close it depends. If you've got kids there, dangerous, knives sticking out, obviously, you've got to be careful to close it. But if no one's there, if it's blocking off the kitchen, that's tzorich makoymai. But if it's not blocking the kitchen, then it'll be problematic. Take this drawer over here. Let's say there's Muktza in there, which I think there is, right? There is Muktza, no? Nothing made, there's Muktza in there, no? So if you open this on Shabbos, because I need to get to the Siddur, that will be okay, but what about closing it? Again, that will depend. Okay, that's more of a Basi Shaila. We'll get to that. Rabbi, so let's just finish off with one last thing. We have to move on, Rabbi, so there's a lot more to do, but let me just end with one last Shaila, and that is, you picked up a Kli Shemilachto L'Isa, you picked up the pen from your pillow, you picked up the pot from the side. Do I have to drop it as soon as it's gone away from the place that I was trying to get it away from, or can I continue to move it? That's really the Shaila that I want to discuss. So the Maisa, the Shulchan Aruch brings in Shimon Chesiv Gimel, that once you pick it up, I can keep on moving it wherever I want. I can go take it down, I can do whatever I want with it, because once I picked it up beheta, because I had a head to pick it up, because the Kli Shemilachto L'Isa, and I needed the place, I can now put it back in the cupboard. I don't have to, in other words, if it's on the table over here, right, imagine, it's on the table over here, I pick it up to get rid of it, because I need to sit over here. Do I have to drop it straight away, or can I now take it to the side and put it on the side? Right, so halacha l'maisa, you're allowed to put it on the side. What if you stop? You stop walking. What happens? What happens in that case? So the Shulchan Aruch Harav, the Baal HaTanya writes in the Graz that if you stop, shaloi l'tzorich halicha, means you didn't need to stop for the sake of stopping. You just stop because I'm going to schmooze with you. Then it's also to continue. Agav, this is not mentioned anywhere in any of the Achronim or the Mishnah Berurah, and the Mashmois from the Halacha from the Mishnah Berurah is that it's mutter, although the Prima Godim Lamaisa, Ish Lavam Sekot Pei Paskins, Halacha Lamaisa, that once you stop, you're not allowed to continue. But if you did not stop, then you continue. Are you allowed to transfer it from hand to hand? Can I pick up the pot with one hand and give it to the other hand, right? So the Prima Godim Agav has a suffix about this. The Prima Godim in Tov Man Vav Mishpah Zov Sekot and Beis has a suffix. But the Ma'aser Roi Poskim Paskin that there is no problem of putting it from hand to hand. And the Prima Godim also says over here in Shenches Eish Levom Sekot and Zayin that it's only in that room. But to take it to a different room, that avada you cannot do. Or the Kaf HaChaim. The Heilig Kaf HaChaim and Sikot Nochov Ches Paskins that it's mutter even to take it to a different room. Can you give it to your friend? Okay, I've taken off the pen. Can I give it to you to go and continue moving it? So here the Elia Rabbi is the Makor over here that he wants to say. He's talking about a bris milah, a moil that has the milah knife. Is he allowed to give it to somebody else? And he actually writes he actually should give it to somebody else. So a lot of the poskim actually bring down, for example, the Tosfos Shabbos, the Oz Nidbru, Rav Ozner Shevet Alevi Chelik Gimel Simon Lamed Ois Kotten Aleph till the David as well. Paskin Halacha L'Maisa that once you have it, you're not allowed to give it to somebody else, but the Maisa there are poskim who are makel in this case. Does it only apply to a Kli Shemilachto L'Isa or to any Muktza? So the Mishnah Berurah says very clearly in Sif Gimel that this heta of picking it up, which you're allowed to by a Kli Shemilachto L'Isa, let's say Gufa Makoymei, and then moving it wherever you want, is only by a Kli Shemilachto L'Isa. But it does not apply, for example, to a Kli Muktza Machmas Kufay. If you pick up, which we'll get to define that, let's just say for the moment it's a stone, right? So if you pick up a stone on Shabbos, then you're not allowed to continue in this case. However, Lamaisa Shulchan Harav says, Malcolm Hefsid, you can definitely be makel even by a Muktza Machmas Kufay and continue. Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we will talk about the Geder of a Kli Shemilachto L'Heta, and Be'ez Hashem get into Muktza Machmas Kufay. Have a wonderful day.